Open Mic Stand-Up. I'm Xander the Blue. This is Ronnie Coyote.
Hi, how you doing?
So, if you haven't been to an open mic before, this is a great place to do it. Sunday morning hangover, not the best time to do it, but you know, that's how it goes. But yeah, as I'm sure you've heard a billion times before, just getting up here is hard enough, so be nice. And have fun with it, and I'm sure you know what you guys are doing. We'll give you 5 minutes, and then what do you say? Like after 5, I'll stand up and kind of do the whole I'm creeping towards you and about to stab you in the back.
You can stand up and start creeping towards you, or if the 5-minute mark gets there, we can just start clapping loudly for it.
Oh, okay. We're going to play them off with laughing. Got it. Okay.
I think they do that at the Oscars, don't they? They like turn up.
Oh yeah, the music. We don't have play them off music right now.
Yeah.
So we're not that hardcore. So okay, just out of raise your hands, who wants to perform actually? Okay. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay, cool. So I will. Yeah, I'll just hand out some cards. So everyone keep hand raised for who wants to. There you go. Crash. You're gay. No. No? Okay. Anybody else? Good?
Those free stuff.
Who wants a card? Alright, so give me a second here. And if you want to see.
Blue lights.
Yeah, those were on. Go ahead. Go for it.
All right. Can anybody hear me pretty good?
No.
Can I mix up any more?
There you go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Does this work? Can anybody hear me pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay. My accent not too thick? No?
Yeah.
Good. I don't know if that'll work for you, and this will work pretty good. All right. So, welcome to Open Mic. We're going to have everybody come up here, do their own little thing for 5 minutes, and then we'll critique you and we'll politely judge you. And your peers will politely applaud and refrain from any heckling. All right. So anyways, my name is Ronnie Coyote. Everybody having fun so far?
Yeah.
Good fun? I gotta admit, this is my first time at Midwest Fur Fest, actually.
Oh, nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And also, there's a lot of really cool panels. I think I was going to get to another. A buddy of mine wanted to go to the micro macro panel, but he's going to be so disappointed when he gets to the room and finds out they're all the same size. Yeah, and that's a normal laugh where I'm from. I'm from Southeast Georgia. Yokels laugh like that all the time. My mother's my sister. Oh, that's just Walmart. I work at Walmart, so I see it every day. A little small child. You can walk in there. There's like a 6-year-old. He's got nothing on but a diaper, Kool-Aid stain on his mouth, and a bottle full of Coca-Cola. The American dream. But anyways, you want to go ahead and draw cards in? Or?
Yeah. I'll draw a card, and we got.
Card, any card.
Oh, wow, ace.
Ace of spades.
I guess I'm up first.
Yeah.
All
What's your
right.
name?
Eisen?
Eisen. Give it up for Eisen.
So I think we all had like horror stories while traveling before.
Oh yeah.
So I was coming back from Hawaii back in 2014 during February, and my mom's a big Ozzy Osbourne fan, so I decided to listen to it while flying back. But I fell asleep to it. So I'm sleeping, we had a lot of turbulence, and it happens in No More Tears, that epic guitar riff happens, and unfortunately we had turbulence. I interpreted that as the engine exploding, so I started screaming mid-flight, waking up everyone, and made a huge embarrassment of myself and my family at like 30,000 feet.
Awesome.
Dang, I thought that was going to last longer, that's all I really have.
Oh, that's cool.
That's what she said. That's fine.
Oh, wow.
That's
That's all I really have.
All right, thank you.
I only do long, I just really do small little things.
No, it's cool, dude. It's cool. If that's what you got,
Yeah.
give them up.
You want one?
That was great. Seriously, everyone can relate to travel stories because we all have to freaking do it. It's always something good to go with, But you did, you know, you got to the, not so much you got to the point right away, as in, you know, you let everyone know, like, this is the thing, and but you got to funny real fast. That's what I like.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can go too far and just go and go and go, and they forget where you are. Like, oh, you hit them with a funny part, and they're gone already.
Yeah.
So that's always, but that's
That's
great.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
shorter is better than longer, and you know.
I won't short term. That's my thing. It's like I go 5 minutes. Like.
Yeah. Well, thanks for participating. All right, we'll do another one. All right. We'll at least try to make it semi-random, not in order. All right, 6. There we go. Make sure, no, you got plenty of time. Don't worry about it. And go ahead.
I'll give it up for Kiki.
Yay! Don't move that far. Yeah, all right. Go ahead. All right, you won't say
There we go.
anything.
So I've always wanted to do stand-up, but sometimes it's a tough crowd. But the last time I was in front of a stage, nobody laughed. None of my jokes hit at all. It was like dead water. So I did what I normally do, and I used dirty humor. So I used dirty humor. So basically I stood there and I went, the entire crowd died. That was the first time I got them to laugh. They were on the floor. They were laughing their little butts off. Unfortunately, that's also the last time I'm allowed to do stand-up in an elementary school. Nor am I not allowed within 500 feet of one. So, of course, I got depressed, and I was really sad about it. And I was thinking about my comedy, and I was thinking about Pandez, cool Pandez. He does a lot of songs in his comedy, so I was sitting there thinking, and play along if you want to, but I like to call this song, What is Life? And it goes, if your depression's kicked your ass, then clap your hands. If your depression's kicked your ass, then clap your hands. If you're lying in your bed to swallow existential dread, then depression's kicked your ass, so clap your hands. So, speaking of depression, I'm in the Army. And how many people here, how many boots do we have on the ground here? Any boots? All right, I'm sorry, if you're in the Air Force, how many bunny slippers? Now, don't worry, you get your chance to make fun of me too, because not only am I in the Army, but I'm in the Army Reserves. So how many, there's some people I'd be like, Army Reserves, what? But you can't even do 20 push-ups. That is where you're wrong, my friend. Because as a 30-year-old female, I can get away with doing 18.
Awesome.
So, but the one thing that me and all the other military people do have in common is our recruiters lied to us. Bad. So, oh, you'll only drill 1 week in a month. Lie. 2 weeks out of the year. Super lie. So I was doing my 3 weeks out in a little place known as Fort McCoy up in Wisconsin. And we were out there. We had this huge camp enclosure. We had to guard the entire perimeter. It is surrounded by woods. You don't even get like GPS not found type of woods. And my platoon, my squad, had the honor of guarding the entrance of this place. So it happened actually one night where me and a buddy of mine named Falk, we were in the woods, or we were in our little foxhole protecting the woods. It is 2 o'clock in the morning, and we had to protect ourselves from, we had to pretend that we were in Korea fighting an army that does not like the United States, so 2/3 of the friggin' world. So in this case, it was the Korean Independence Army, where it's basically a bunch of vigilantes. So we're pointing our weapons out into the darkness of the woods. Well, we got a call from our sergeant saying, "Hey, we got new intelligence on the military, the military or the army that we're fighting. He is going to make, they're going to communicate with each other using duck noises." So while we're sitting out there, everything was a duck. The crickets, duck. The cicadas, duck. Like, oh God, everything is a duck. Finally, 2 hours into our shift, we heard it. 4 o'clock in the morning, we heard the duck noise. Now, friends, family, people who are only here for the good stand-up, you would think that this fake military would use a duck call for their nighttime adventures. But no, in the middle of the night, we heard this. Quack, 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 quack. And it's good to know that the fake leader of this fake military is a real life moron. So me and Falk are sitting there bumping elbows like a bunch of 5th graders about to go through their dad's porn stash going, you do it, no, you do it, you do it, you do it, you do it. So we get on the radio and we're like, Sergeant, we heard the duck call, we finally heard it. Like, are you sure it's a duck? You know, it could have been a moose, but no, yes, it was a duck. Like, all right, so 4 o'clock in the morning, all the way out in all the tents, you see the red flashlights, you see everybody waking up, and you hear move, 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 and everybody's going into their individual foxholes, and my sergeant, a couple of us are up there in the front lines. My sergeant's like, where is it? And I'm like, it's up there, Sergeant. He hasn't moved at all. We heard him. It's pitch black up there, but he's right there. And he's like, all right, light him up. Then with our M16s and our blanks, we're like, bang, 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 bang. We just lit up the night sky. Bang, 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 bang. Suddenly, in the silence, as the smoke clears, you heard. And against the moonlit sky flew 2 goddamn ducks. And my sergeant looks at me, and I look at my sergeant, and I'm like, ducks. And it's good to know that the real life sentry of the real life United States Army is a real life moron. Thank you.
Oh, no, that was fantastic. Thank you.
Wow, that was great. Here you go.
Hell no!
Got it.
Okay.
I was gonna say it was really cool. Thanks, Kiki, for that. And like, I liked how you started with the shorter jokes and you led into the longer bit. It was actually very professional and very cool. So like, you get their attention first, and then you go into the longer bit, and they're with you. So that's a great technique, illustration of showing that. So.
You're gonna have to get one of those cordless stands.
And you were also very confident. You made a lot of good eye contact with people. You didn't hesitate. You didn't kind of, sit there in one place like. So the other day I was I went to a bar and crap.
Yeah.
So you kept on. You were on the ball. That's good.
And also like how you took your unique experience of being in the Army and like you get to show everyone that. And that's very cool. Great job.
And that is great. So a lot of comedy is the best comedy is based off of life experience.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
like,
Yep.
I used to work as a plumber for years, and I have seen some crap, and I can tell you, I've also grabbed some crap. True stories. I'll save those for later. Okay. So.
I'm gonna take another card. 2. Ah, there we go. Sky, give it up for Sky.
All right.
Hey, so I'm from West Coast. Anyone from West Coast? 1! Okay, awesome. So I'm from Seattle. I go jogging on the waterfront there, and I am not a graceful jogger. This one time my feet found the smallest of bumps in the sidewalk, and it was all over. It was the end. I didn't just fall, I accelerated into the ground and did a full head over heels tumble. And I'm like, at least no one noticed this. Spoiler, everyone noticed this. A bicyclist stopped, other joggers stopped, a Range Rover on the side of the road stopped, they're cranking their windows down, they're looking out. I'm just like, The bicyclist looks over to me, he's like, dude, are you all right? I'm like, I'm fine. He just makes a noise like, I think you should go to the hospital, dude. I look down, there's a bit of blood. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. But I've just been jogging for 4 miles. I am super sweaty. I cannot go to the hospital like this. I'll go to CVS instead and just get some bandages. And this logic apparently made sense to both of us because he was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Future note, hospital does not have a dress code. You can go there even if you're sweaty and they will admit you. It's great. It's open doors. So I'm at CVS, I get my bandages, I'm in line. I wait my turn. Literally no one in front of me. And this lady just kind of parks in front of me. And I'm like, excuse me? And she's like, oh, it's fine. It's fine. I've only got 2 items. Kind of in a rush. And I'm just like,
I don't know where this is going.
losing my horse. I'm just like, I only have 1 item. And also I was here first. And she's just looking at my bandages. And I'm looking at her rush purchases, which is a $7 bottle of wine and a box of Cheez-Its. So very important, very important. And I make this, she's looking at my bandages. I make an exaggerated look down at my leg. And she looks at my leg. And then I look at my leg again because it has started bleeding tremendously more now. And it looks like I've just walked off like a car accident or something. Like it is bad. It's just blood all the way down. And so I'm like, oh, this is not great. And so we just stand there. She's looking at my leg. I'm looking at my leg. The cashier at CVS is looking at my leg. Like everyone's just like, wow, that's something. And she says to me, she's like, oh, well, I guess you can go first. If you want to. Whoa. I'm like, nah, this is fine. This is fine. I do this all this time. You're in a rush. You've gotta get your purchases in. And if you really want to go first, you can go first. It's not that big of a deal. And so she does. She takes her Cheez-Its and she puts it on the table and she puts her wine on the table and she puts her checkbook on the table because yes, this lady is paying by check. Oh. She's filling out all the fields. The cashier's just, he's looking over at me and he's like, you better not die in my CVS. I realize this is a downtown CVS and I've seen some shit, but if you die in my CVS, it's a major violation of store policy. We ban you, it's gonna be bad. Anyway, long story short, I did not die in CVS, and it's not really a substitute for actual medical care. So, thank you.
Oh, great, thanks. That was fantastic. You want to go ahead?
Sure.
Yeah.
That was an amazing story.
Yeah.
And that was definitely very relatable too. That's really good. A lot of related stories. People have had stories. I'm sure we've all had that goof up where we tripped like, oh, I hope nobody saw that. But the adding of dramatic flair was also great. It's a great way to tell a story and catch people's attention. Like, I think some of you are familiar with Dane Cook. The guy, he always goes out with the dramatic flair, like talking about, like, his seatbelt's not locking. That's a regular statement. But he takes and goes, oh no, it's the strap of death. I love how you add the dramatic flair to that. Very captivating.
Pretty much what he was saying is, you're telling the story, but you're putting in the little observations along the way. A lot of times you have to, sometimes there's a ridiculous situation. You have to point out how ridiculous that thing is, and you did a good job of that. And like you said, oh, here's this thing, that's crazy, and here's why it is. Anyway, moving on, and that's great. And like you put those little punches along the way, and then before you know it, you're bleeding everywhere, and everyone's like, oh, what's going on now? So that's great. Yeah, fantastic. I'll do another card here. 3. All right, Crash.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Let's give it up for Crash.
Hello everybody, I am Crash McCloud. Most of you might know me as the guy playing Tracer, so if you don't find me funny, you at least get a nice loot box to stare at for a couple of minutes. For the most part, I just tell basic stories of what I've gone through over the summer. This was about 2 years ago. I went to a barbecue following Pride Fest up in Milwaukee. This was by my good friend Jeremy. What I recently found out, though, about these barbecues is that when you typically have somebody play the chef and he's had a little bit of tequila, they typically become masters of the flambe. My friend is standing here, and I'm filming this because I like making mini home movies, and I feel bad because I kind of distracted him on this. He's about 4 tequilas deep, and there's about 8 burgers there on this nice $20 Menards barbecue. Anyway, I'm sitting here, he's distracted by me. He looks directly into the camera, stating, "Why are you still recording me? Go somewhere else." And, all right. So I walk by him and everything. Jeremy's yelling at him. He's like, is everything good yet? He's like, you know what's awesome right now? Tequila. So he reaches down and knocks the cup over into the barbecue.
Oh!
Huge ball of flame goes up in the air, and the chef, as I'm going to call him during this story, is now just staring at the barbecue. Like time has just slowed down. You see the flames going up as if the bomb just went off in Fallout 4. As soon as the flames calm down and his eyelashes are seared off, he looks over in Jeremy's directions and yells, "The burgers are done!" I don't know what this man mixes in his drinks, but that was the best burger I've ever had in my life. A little bit later on in the day, everyone starts getting hungry again because the alcohol is wearing off. So me being only 20 years old at the time, I can't drink. So I'm the one who's sent down into the basement to find more charcoal, more lighter fluid and all this. He lives in a somewhat old house, so as you go down the stairs, you think the floors or the stairway is creaking on you. Then all of a sudden, that's not my feet on the stairs. So I keep going down the stairs, get the bag of charcoal, start heading up my own way, and then look over to my side. How does he bend like that? There's a couple downstairs doing some stuff. Try not to disturb them. I'm going back up the stairs, and how does his legs bend that far back? After traumatizing myself that weekend, I go to Anthrocon only to repeat the story and then get yelled at by the two people who were downstairs. That's what I got for now. Thanks, guys.
Great job. I love Crash. I love what you loved there. What you did there was really putting us in your shoes, really, basically, you took your time going through the story, especially your reaction to the situation, and I love that. It's funny. It's one thing I like about movies when they really make you feel like you're in the situation with the person that's going through the thing, and you only see what they see and that kind of thing. That's kind of what it reminded me of when you're saying you're going down the stairs and you're like. And you did a great job of pacing and waiting, and then you hit us with what you're seeing, and it got a great reaction, so it's fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, pretty much. Very good. Very detailed.
Got a 4 here. There you go. What's your name? Istanbul. Give it up for Istanbul.
Thank you kindly. Okay, now first of all, I gotta tell you, this story comes from Texas, so this is gonna explain a whole lot, just right off the bat. So, I used to work at a Blockbuster.
What?
Okay, a Blockbuster is a store where you used to go to rent movies and then pay late fees. So I used to work at Blockbuster as a manager on purpose, and we were not in the best part of town, which is to say slightly less apocalyptic than the previously mentioned Fallout 4, just a little. So it was a Friday night, because all the good stories happened on Friday night. We had just put out the fire outside. I'm not joking. It was autumn, leaves had fallen, and someone decided, I'm done smoking. It's the leaves' turn to smoke. So we had gotten done putting out the actual literal fire flames at the storefront. That's not the bad part. And I didn't used to believe in magic, okay? To an extent, I still don't. I don't believe in good magic, but I believe in dark magic after this story. We had sort of an older Blockbuster, so we had kind of a side hallway where the management office and the bathrooms both were, because that's the best idea. And at one point, we had a lady and her little kid, couldn't have been more than 4 years old, coming in, and they need to use the bathroom. Okay, it's attached to one of our little boxes. VHS tapes used to come in boxes. You have to understand the furry demographic is 18 to 25, and they're like, Blockbuster? So they go back together, and I'm just, okay, maybe the kid's a little bit not quite toilet trained yet? in that case, I'm glad she's going with him. Lady leaves. Kid doesn't. Later, the kid leaves, about 5 minutes later. And I'm working with a couple of people. I still remember their names. Keep in mind, this was over 15 years ago. So this will give you some idea of what I'm talking about. And sort of the de facto leader of the Red Ranger of my front staff, his name was Matt. And Matt says, "Hey man, we're getting some complaints about the bathroom." I'm like, "Yeah, somebody probably dropped a stinky. Surprise." And he goes, no, we're getting lots of complaints about the bathroom." I'm like, "Okay, well, we'll clean it later." He goes, "No, we're getting lots of complaints about the bathroom." And I said, okay. Let me go see what's going on. And I approached the back hallway, and I just, not a physical object, but a wall of stink as oppressive as any physical object could ever be. Oh. Flattened my nose on the stench. I only wish that had stopped it from working. And I go back there. I have the key, of course, and I open the door. Now, you have a certain expectation of a kid that's like 4 years old. He's like yay tall, he has a heart, he has lungs, he has bones. Not this kid. I am thoroughly convinced that this child was composed on a molecular level of shit. Up to and including propulsion devices. Because it was everywhere. It was on the floor, on the toilet, on the sink, on the mirror, on the walls. It got higher up than he could reach. I don't know how he did it. I'm convinced it was teamwork, but the mother walked out clean, so maybe it was levitation? I don't know. We already have a shit golem here, why not? And I walk back, and I'm just like, because I've not seen anything like this before or since, nor should anyone ever see anything like that. And Matt's like, what? What's so wrong? And I'm just like, staff huddle. And I get everybody together, and Matt's like, "So, what's going on?" I was like, "Have you actually gone and seen it?" He's like, "No." And I'm like, "I'm so sorry." I'm just like, "Do this for me right before you walk into the hallway. And don't release that until you come out." And he's like, "Oh, come on." I said, no, you have not experienced this in your own life, I assure you. So he goes back there, and he comes back with you know how huskies can get that horrified face, He comes back like, and I'm just like, yes, that is in fact a correct response. That is a normal response to this completely abnormal situation. So we're deciding how we're going to deal with this. How does one deal with such a thing? And I worked with a guy named CJ. CJ, salt of the earth, great guy, wonderful to hang out with, but you gotta understand, if a meteor falls, it's going to land on CJ, physically on top of him. I've never seen anybody with luck this bad. And we agreed that we're gonna draw straws. And CJ's just like, "I'll get ready to clean." You know what? There's like 5 of us. It's fine. There's like a 20% chance. CJ's like, "No, man, I'll get ready to clean." And okay, so I had a different person create the straws. I had a different person hold the straws. I was like, okay, let's see what happens. I'll give you 3 guesses who wound up cleaning the bathroom.
CJ.
CJ got drawn. And he's like, "I need a smoke." So CJ goes outside for a smoke, and I go into the back room, and I get the mop, and I get the mop bucket, and I fill the mop bucket with water, and I fill the mop bucket with soap. I fill the mop bucket with soap. And I go back to that bathroom, and I create not a clean spot. That's not on the menu today. I create an ingress. You can sort of step into the bathroom a little bit if you don't like your shoes. And I work that mop bucket until the water is brown. Go back, pour out the mop bucket, clean out the mop bucket, because you can't just use that same mop bucket again. Fill it up with water, fill it up with soap, go back for the second round. CJ comes back. And he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, watch the front, CJ. CJ's really, I know, watch the front, CJ. So CJ is confused but elated. CJ watches the front along with everybody else, and I go back for mop round 2, and mop round 3, and mop round 4, and mop round 5. I spend the rest of the night doing this, and please keep in mind that this is a Friday night, this is the busiest night of the week. We cannot spare anybody, but we can't not do this. Oh, God. And the restroom had to be shut down for months afterwards. It was not an option. You could, this was not safe for habitation. I considered evacuating the building, but I was like, no, I got this. The question mark at the end was bigger than the ceiling. And in the end, it's like 11 o'clock. I have to stop. I have to stop so I can do closing stuff so we can get out of there. Because at this point, no one wants to be in this building. And CJ's like, what are you doing? What was this? I know my straw got drawn. And I was like, I don't want to hear any of you ever telling me that I would ask you to do something that I wouldn't do myself. And everything smelled like shit for about a week afterward.
Thank you very much. Wow, what a shitty story. No. No, it's fantastic. No, it was great. It was great. Thank you. Oh, see you crash. Well, it was fantastic. I used to work in a video store as well.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
You never really recover from that, do you?
Yeah, no, so I've had a lot of flashbacks.
And having worked as a plumber, the smell still sticks with you sometimes in your nose. You're like, oh, somebody hasn't flushed this one in 2 weeks. I know what that smell is. But also that was very good. You're able to manage to connect the gap with your audience. Because like you were jokingly saying, about like that's true, 18 to 25 range. Some people don't even know what it's starting to not even know what a VHS is. And nobody knows a Betamax just about. I think only maybe Druids know Betamax now. But that was very relatable. Who we got next?
We got number 5. All right. I already forgot. Bright. Yep. Give it up for Bright.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. What am I doing here? All right. So today I'd like to tell you a story about how my friend claims to be a furry and says he's straight.
Oh no.
You may have noticed that sentence doesn't make a bit of sense. There's no such thing. They are as mythical as the dragons they pretend to be. And you know that YouTube comment where somebody like 6 years old goes on a video and goes, fake and gay? That's exactly what that's like. That's what straight furries are. So one day he comes up to me and he's like, oh, I'm the straightest guy in the world. And I'm like, no, you're not. I just met your boyfriend. And he goes, yeah, but we don't sleep together. I'm like, yeah, of course not. He lives in Canada. So he just kind of goes on like this, and I'm like, listen, dude, you can't be like straight and have a boyfriend. And I felt like I was Patrick and Man Ray in that SpongeBob episode where he tries to get back the wallet. He was like, so you have a boyfriend? Yeah. And so people who are men and like other men are gay. Sounds reasonable. So you're gay? No, I'm straight. Well, I guess you really can't trust people. I guess you can't trust ferrets, huh? I was going to eventually make that joke to Alkali, but he decided not to come here.
He couldn't make it, unfortunately.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm sure he was just scared. All right, so that's what I got. Thank you very much.
I'm so sorry Alkali couldn't be here.
That's okay. The whole point of that was to make fun of him, and I couldn't do it.
Well, I'll let him know next time you really want to make fun of him.
Thank you. I'm sure he'll love that.
Also, good use of the fandom. If you know where to look, this is a great place for comedy material.
Yes.
And it's better people watching than Walmart.
All right, we got number 7. What's your name, sir? Fresbear. Give it up for Fresbear.
Do you guys ever have the neighbor next to you, or they always get you in trouble because they think they own the whole dang neighborhood? But what I got my next door neighbor, she's old and stuff like that, and she one time called police on me and my wife said there was domestic abuse. So I was thinking how to get back at her, because our houses are really close apart, we can touch each other. And in the back in there, she had a rusty 55-gallon drum. This is a true story. I'm thinking. So I decided to call the police department. Do you have the hazmat service or anything like that? Because I'm a concerned citizen, and there's a rusty barrel back there, and I don't know what's in it. I'm sorry, sir, they're closed and no one's around. And this is a true story. After this, I told my wife, no, they're going to. I was starting to hear a bunch of sirens coming down the road. There was the police department. There was the fire department. There was the hazmat department. There was about 80 people around her house. This is one way I got back at her the best way. And guess what? She never bothered me again. And there was another one. One time, she's elderly, like when she said she was. And all of a sudden, a visiting nurse come by and talk to her and stuff like that. And so I said, well, I want to get a car from her because my wife's disabled. And all I heard is, that son of a bitch is the one I'm talking about. I said, but Betty, I would never tell you how you go in the back and bend over and feed the cat or do this and the other thing. And she got really mad. And that's one way you get back at somebody without personally getting to her. Other than that, that's a true story, and that's about all I got.
All right. Thanks so much. Great story. Way to keep it shorter and just like keeping all the bullet points there. It was really, pretty fun. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, who we got?
Let's see. We got number 8. Yeah. Here we go.
Walk out the door.
Oh, yeah. Let's give it up for Tantru.
Sorry, I ran out on that.
Give him some time.
Good day, everybody. Hey. How you doing? Hi. Welcome to Chicago, everybody. Woo! It's that time of year, though. Christmas time. All y'all work in retail.
Oh, God, yes.
Never have. Wow.
Oh, I have.
1,000 blessings on your house, sir. But anyways, I worked retail for 5 years. There's a lot of things you remember. The code for bananas, 4011.
Uh-oh, we're just going.
But also the holiday season. And listening to holiday music for about a month straight, all those things that make everyone else cheerful is the thing that make you cringe. Back before I knew I was not supposed to like the Salvation Army for other social reasons, I didn't like them for another particular reason. I worked at a small grocery store, and the distance between the door and the cash register was not very far. So for most of the year, you'd hear ding, 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 for 6 hours. And on top of that, you have the holiday music and the speakers. And those two things combined into my brain when a certain song came on. Silver Bells. So here we go. Da 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 da. Busy scanning, busy begging, not going home for a while. Working overtime and right up to Christmas. Children coveting, people shoving, filling aisle after aisle. And over the intercom, you'll hear silver bells, silver bells. back to those days, I realized that retail stores are actually not that big anymore. It's going all mobile. We're shipping all of our Christmas presents all to us. And I didn't know when I was looking up those lyrics for Silver Bells to make that parody, that there's a second verse.
Oh.
It's not very well known, but I did that one too. So this goes to all y'all shippers out there. Hear the wife plight, drive the street, nights pursuing holiday green. As I drop off all the shoppers bought treasures. No time to eat lunch, big delivery crunch. I'm playing Santa today. And over the radio, you'll hear everybody, silver bells, silver bells. Someone please stop that annoying ringing. Ding-a-ling, head splitting. Hope it'll soon be Christmas Day.
All right, well, thank you so much. Give it up for Tamers.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thanks so much.
Wow, that was amazing. That was relatable, and that brought a tear to my eye. I can't see in here now. But,
Yeah, great way to use the time period. Obviously, you know, we're in the frickin' holiday season, and a lot of us have worked retail, and we can totally relate to that. So that was great. Thank you so much.
Very creative too. Appreciate us all.
Number 9. There you go. What's your name? Fox Fox. Okay. Was it Fox Fox? Okay. All right, give it up for Fox Fox. Do you need a mic or mic stand?
I do it without. I think I'm
Okay.
noisy enough.
You don't need the mic?
I think I'll be fine.
All right, give it up for him.
I'm going to do an oldie that I think fits the fandom quite well. It's about Big Bad Wolf and the Little Red Riding Hood. We know it, yeah. Who's that I see walking in these woods? Why, it's Little Red Riding Hood. Hey there, Little Red Riding Hood. You sure are looking good. You're everything that a big bad wolf could want. Listen to me. Little Red Riding Hood. I don't think little big girl should go walking in these spooky old woods all alone. Ow!
nothing because I'm not a musician. That was great. That was fantastic. Thank you. All right, and number 10, right? Wolf Cub, right?
Yep.
All right. Let's give it up for Wolf Cub.
Hi guys. People know me, know Con Security knows me by heart.
Okay.
And a couple years back, I was fursuiting. I had a medical problem, so I had my truck parked where they had fursuit for the big picture. I'm sitting there in my new suit going, fuck, 750 people. My sister's eating one in the crowd. I'm like, hey, hurting, sitting on the bed of my tailgate in my truck, parked there. I'm like, hey, my idea. Climbed up my truck down this high. I'm like, yes. I can now take a picture of it. Clearly these cars, there's all the people down here. I'm up here. Bites my little poppy fur friends. Oh, hey, Wolf. Oh, hi. Whose truck? Mine. Bill. Oh, come on up. Eventually, I have a step sign. Now you cannot see the truck because everybody's on the side of the step sign. Everybody's all hanging around me. At the end, I'm like, I can't get my meds out of my truck. Fuck. I'm hurting. I'm really miserable. So I'm waiting for all the other guys to go in so I can get my hidden key to go get my vehicle. Up comes Con Security. I'm dressed as a female skunk. And they come and go, guys, out. No. Anyways, and I'm with my friends. The guy goes, come on, guys. Out of the truck now. I said, no, my truck. Go away. Con Security goes, look, out now. So I went, no, my truck is parked illegally. Go away. The whole truck, Con goes, oh, hi, Wolf Cub. They're like, yeah? They're like, your truck? Yeah? Hotel security said that your truck was being vandalized.
Oh!
And I went, vandalized my ass, my truck. They're like, what are we going to tell hotel security? I said, here's my real name, 88 hotel room. People, then they're like, okay, sorry, Wolf Cub, hi. And they're okay, well, people, you told up Con Security. I said, I've gotten to the point now, Con Security hears my name and goes, they're like, you gonna look for him? Nah. Well, why not back it up? He'll show up eventually. We'll talk to him. Pretty bad, you know. And this is the shirt that I got for the kid alone. My best friend, I'm sometimes supervised. It happens every year, but constantly. Another one was kind of funny. Who remembers GasCon?
Oh, yeah.
God, no.
Quick one, I'm going out across the foot. You know what I said? Guys, we have the hook, we have the dogs in the other room. Do not go behind the curtain. I'm sitting there going, well, I better freeze our ass off. Halfway through, I hear this. Hey guys, move the dogs. You can now go behind the curtain orderly. I am not knowing where Con Security is. At the top of my lungs, I yell, no! Don't let me go behind the curtain! Not get in the half behind the curtain! Dear Lord, Jesus, don't let me go! Con Security behind us, Wolf, come shut the fuck up! I look over and it's like, oh, come on, you wrote that joke. You can get a better punchline than that. Con Security looks at me and said, my goal is, at that little paragraph or sentence, I told him, I said, my goal is to get a fucking chapter. Thank you.
Oh, everyone likes a good con story, that's for sure, especially at a frickin' FurCon. They have a whole panel on it, so. And I think we're done, right? Does anyone else want to come up? We're good? We're good? Oh, do you want to go? Okay, absolutely. Bo, right?
Bo, yes.
Yeah, give it up for Bo. Do you want to take the microphone?
All right, hello everyone. My name is Bo Jackal, or as the ladies call me, that's him, officer. Oh man, I opened up with that one at Fur Reality, and afterwards, someone comes up to me and they're like, "Do women really say that to you?" I was like, "No, I'm kidding. It's not just women." I made myself sad and everybody laughed. Is that what comedy is? Is it just reverse bullying?
Yep.
Like you laugh at me, but that's the win condition? You know, I ought to be good at it. I spent many years having my contemporaries demonstrate to me the principles of traditional bullying. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Middle class, skinny white kid spends all of his time on his computer, likes to pretend he's a dog, and he was bullied. What has become of our youth today? Does get better though, you know. 10 out of 7 would graduate high school again. You know, but you get to choose friends that don't suck once you're out of high school. You know, you can grow up from that shy, sad, nerdy kid into a sad, unfulfilled adult with a much nicer dog costume. You know, it's all fun and games until your imaginary dog Fred steals all of your friends. What then? One of the other pieces of advice I got was that I've got to leave those breaks for people to laugh. And when they said that to me, I was just like, well, I didn't expect people to laugh. That was not how I thought this would go. And honestly, of the two failure modes, I think that's the better one, just talking over the laughs. Because otherwise, if you leave that break for laughs and there are none, all that you just did is, and now let us observe a moment of silence for that joke that just died. Oh man, I swear I had some idea of what I was going to say when I got up here, and then I got one joke in and just jumped completely off the rails. Not that that's unusual, my brain goes off the rails hourly, but this time there was a microphone in front, so you guys got to take that journey with me.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not breathe in enough at the start of that. That was a long sentence. Just up here at the controls, like, we do not have enough air pressure for this operation. It's too late, I've already started talking. You ever had that moment? I was just like, oh no, I've already started talking. You know, like, you're telling a story? All right. I'm gonna tell them what year it was. No, I'll tell them how old I was. And then you go, oh no, I'm already talking. And what they hear is, back when I was 1997. And then you can never talk to that person again. It's the only way out. It's that or ritual suicide. It's all over. Well, that is all I have. I'm not sure what that was, but I talked, you laughed at me, so I'm confident that at least one comedy occurred. Thank you very much.
That's great. He came out right away with the quick one-liners. That was fantastic.
Very good. Also, the self-depreciating humor, that's really funny. But that's also a very, very true observation about doing comedy itself. Like, you can sit there and like, I wrote 12 jokes yesterday. I don't remember what they are right now. You get up here, you'll completely forget, you'll go blank, and you just gotta wing it. But you also had a really good way of presenting that. Like, people have a certain way they come across, like, what's his name? I think Stephen Wright, that guy that always had that.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I bought a new phone and now my dog has rollover beds.
Yeah.
That was really good. Does anybody else want to come up here?
What's up? No.
Anybody else know?
Who else? All right.
Volunteers, very brave man.
What name?
Velocity.
Velocity. Give it up for Velocity.
So I'm going to tell you what happened to me at the last convention.
Oh.
I was at For Reality, which is a great convention. If you haven't been there, you should go. And we got there early. And there was like a bunch of little ladies in the foyer. And my daughter hides eggs everywhere. And the little lady said, what are you guys doing here? And I'm like, well, it's just a bunch of our friends getting together and having fun. And we travel all over the world and, you know, have fun. That's all they needed to know. And I'm like, well, what are you guys doing here? And they're like, oh, we're in a religious retreat. They were going to the Creation Museum. And then the lady's like, and what's these eggs all about? And I'm like, oh yeah, we just hide them. It's just for fun. And she's like, can I get one for my grandchild? And I'm like, sure, you can take one. Then I realized there is a website on that. that links us back to the furry convention that we were just at. So when this old lady gives this grandkid this egg that has this website, you know what that grandchild's going to do. What grandma didn't. She's going to go on that website and see what grandma was just at. And those grandchildren are going to realize that grandma just went to a furry convention.
That's great. I think we're. Anybody else? No? Yes? No? Oh, we got another.
Dylan, MTV, what do we want?
All right, give it up for Dylan.
Alrighty, so in order for this next story, I kind of need to give you a little bit of background of where I lived. So I was kind of in the northern tip of California, and I mean northern, like San Francisco is 5 hours south, kind of northern. I'm like talking Oregon border. So it's like in complete middle of nowhere. Like you take 5 steps outside your house, you are in the middle of the goddamn woods, and you are fearing for your life because a wildcat's probably gonna kill you. In that, there's probably like 2 schools. There's one way up north, and there's one way in town. This is the town of Reading. It's where I'm originally from, and I drove all the way over here. From there, I hate my life. Okay, so I was actually like a sophomore in high school when this was occurring. I was getting around 16, so my dad was, kind of asking me, hey, you want to start getting your driver's license soon? You can start driving to and from school. We don't have to waste our gas money on it. You can start actually, making a living for yourself. I was like, hell no. It's like, why? Don't you want to be free? Don't you want to go out anywhere? It's like, do you understand how much I stay in my room? Why would I want to get out? Do you understand, like, the leading cause of death for teenagers? There were 3 Audis at my schools. There was someone rich enough to buy 3 Audis. There were also a high schooler. Guess what happened? Every single one of those Audis were destroyed by the end of the year. And it was April. So, it was fine. It was just like, well, we can't start, picking you up from school anymore. Our schedules are kind of screwing up. I was like, fine. I'll just take the public bus. Oh, Jesus. And it was okay for a little bit. I just had to walk up a mile to the actual bus stop and wait on there for another good hour before I actually started to, drive to the other city. It was a tiny one named Shasta Lake. There's a lot of weed there now. I hit that for a few weeks. I got started to know the bus drivers and all that. And there was one day, I just got off of school. The bus was relatively early, so I just, got on. It was kind of packed, so I got near the back. And everybody started filing out near the end of it because nobody really wants to go to the, to Shasta Lake ever. However, I'm forced to. And so we were near one of the big junctions. There was like a few buses there. When we passed near a Tower Mart, it's like a really knockoff Shell. Just to give you a little bit of background, and there he came. The bus was right about to take off at that point, and he just comes sprinting. It is this old guy. I don't know if it was like because of the drugs, because there was a lot of meth, but hair as gray as like dark gloomy skies and this ragged brown coat. It was absolutely terrifying how long this was. It was probably scraping his feet the entire time. It was like you could hear the sound of dread just approaching. And he hits, the bus door is already closed, and he just smacks it. It was the loudest bang I ever heard, and I knew my life was over at that point. They open the door, and he gets on, he puts in, because the bus fare usually had either the card, you could prepay, you could give him, cash. The guy pulls out just a fistful of quarters. Bus fare was only $1.25. He just smacks it in there and walks off. I was terrified. This man sits right next to me. The first thing I notice is his eyes are completely cross-eyed, like permanently. I could see him staring at me, and it was at like a 90-degree angle. The second thing I noticed as he sits by me, I see the giantest lump on the back of his head. There was a tattoo around it.
What?
It was about the size of a softball.
Oh my god.
It was terrifying. And then, I'm just sitting there, get on the stop. It's about a 15-minute ride to the other town. I'm like, okay, I just gotta strap in, just gotta sit here, walk off, and forget this all happened. Bus door shut, we start going, it hits me. The stench. Oh my god, it smelled like something died. I'm sitting next to him, he scoots closer to me. Oh god. This is where I die. I didn't even get to do something meaningful with my life. At first it kind of elated me, but then I realized how I was going to die. And he looks at me and he's like, hey, you want to earn some money?
Okay.
Not really. No. It's like, okay. Scoots away. So we get down the road. We get to probably the shadiest part of the city. There was like a little park nearby that's usually abandoned, like a little skating rink, probably where a lot of the meth deals go. And he gets off there, but as he leaves the bus, I see something fall out of his jacket. It is a squirrel.
What?
That is a dead squirrel. That was the stench. That was the stench. I waited about a bus stop later. I got off and I walked 2 miles to my house. There was a bus stop like literally outside my house. I just got off there. Next day I was like, Dad, yes, I would like to get a driver's license. And that is why I started driving.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you. And you really punched up the detail there to really, you were very visual with your descriptions, and I really appreciate it. That's really cool.
Yes.
Did anyone else want? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no. And yes, public transportation is a very harrowing tale. It is. MARTA, any kind of subway system.
Yeah.
Wait, heroin?
Harrowing.
Well, that too.
But yeah, you can.
Also, yes.
They're both on the subway. Yes.
All right. Anybody else? I think we're good. I think we're good. All right, everyone. Thanks for coming. And as I said, it's always, if you ever want to do this and you're ever in the future, this is a great place to do it at FurCon. If you ever want to do it in the regular human space as well, it's actually way more welcoming than you'd think. I mean, everybody knows there's a lot of people going up for the first time, so that's all that's all known in the back of people's minds if you do try an open mic. So give it a shot and whatever. And thanks for coming. And that's it. You got anything else you want to say? Yeah. All right. Thanks. Did anyone else have a 6 card? I missed your card.
Oh, wait, no, I have.
Thank you. I probably lost. No, it's fine. Thank you.
Yeah, I was first.
Silver Gattoman, he bought me a coffee. Silver Gattoman, here is the song for thee. He likes to video all the panels at the cons. You should go and watch them whether they are short or long. Silver Gattoman, you video that's not a jibe. All of you go to his YouTube channel and like and subscribe.